Welcome to the deep dive. So you've probably seen the headlines, maybe heard the buzz, or perhaps even felt the ripple effect yourself. Government tech layoffs. It's definitely a topic causing a lot of uncertainty for IT professionals right now. But what if this disruption, this initial bump in the road, isn't just a setback? What if it's actually a pivotal turning point for your career? Then we're taking a deep dive into why these government tech layoffs are happening, and maybe more importantly, how they might actually present some unexpected, maybe even exciting opportunities for, well, incredible career growth and revitalization in the IT sector. We're basing this deep dive on some fresh information that came out around April 2025, stuff that really shines a light on these evolving employment market trends.
That's exactly right. And our mission today really is to help you, our listener, not just understand this, rapidly evolving landscape, but to actually grasp the expanding opportunities that are popping up because of it. We want to give you the knowledge to prepare for a hopefully seamless transition into new positions, maybe even better positions, instead of just feeling overwhelmed by all the change. It's about empowering your next move, really.
Okay, so let's unpack this landscape shift then.
Well,
What exactly is happening in government tech right now that's causing such a stir, beyond just the headlines?
Well, the current wave of government cuts is definitely having a significant impact, especially on IT professionals. Like you said, Forbes reported that the Trump administration intends to cut government agency budgets by an average of, well, somewhere between 30% and 40%.
Wow, that's quite a chunk.
It is. And this fits into a bigger picture, a broader administrative priority focused on streamlining federal operations, reducing the size of government, often by, shifting services over to the private sector. Staffing reductions are explicitly named as a primary focus for cutting spending. We've already seen the General Services Administration, the GSA, a huge administrative part of the government offering eligible employees early retirement.
Right, the buyouts.
Exactly. And they're even seeking approval for lump sum payments as part of that deal. So it's happening.
And what's really striking, I think, is that this isn't just a general reduction in government jobs, is it? It seems like tech employment is getting hit disproportionately hard.
It absolutely is distinct. The statistics are pretty surprising when you really drill down into the tech sector within government. According to PYM-NTS, job cuts in the government sector just blew past those in the same period in 2024 by a staggering 41,311%.
41,000%. That's massive.
It's huge. And to put some real-world examples on that, think about NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. USA reported they terminated 1,029 employees during a big federal government overhaul.
Wow, for an agency like NOAA, that's significant.
Very significant, especially for a mission-critical scientific agency. And then there's the newer Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, they call it. They've been implementing major workforce reductions to, quote, streamline operations and cut expenses. And that's directly led to eliminating quite a few technical positions. The people specifically tasked with IT infrastructure and support within federal agencies.
That number, 41,000%, and those examples, they really paint a picture. So it leads to the big question, why? Why are these layoffs hitting tech jobs so hard? What are the core reasons beyond just saying budget cuts?
Right. There are really three main factors contributing here, and they're a bit more nuanced than they might seem at first glance. First, like you said, budget cuts. That's the baseline. Agencies simply have less money, so they're forced to reassess staffing because of these fiscal constraints. It's a direct response to reduced funding. Less money for salaries, less for operations.
Okay, that's straightforward enough.
Yeah. But second, and this is where it gets really interesting for IT folks, is automation. The demand for certain kinds of IT roles isn't just shrinking, it's fundamentally shifting. Intelligent automation is freeing up IT teams from doing those repetitive manual tasks. So you see a consolidation or even elimination of certain technical roles because AI and sophisticated automation can do them now. But the flip side is the demand is now for the experts who can actually design, implement, and maintain these complex algorithms and systems, not just operate the old stuff. It's sort of a move up the value chain, if you will.
Right, managing the automation itself.
Exactly. And the third factor is policy changes. Administrative priorities have, explicitly redirected resources away from the traditional in-house government technology departments. There's a really clear trend towards outsourcing tech projects to private companies. This push for greater efficiency, as they call it, often means moving away from those government-specific, sometimes clunky proprietary systems.
Yeah, the legacy stuff.
The legacy stuff, exactly. And moving towards commercial, off-the-shelf solutions or managed services provided by the private sector. And that fundamentally changes what IT roles look like inside federal agencies.
Okay, so we've got budget tightening, automation, changing the actual jobs, and this big policy shift towards outsourcing. That might sound pretty daunting on the surface, but this is where you're saying these same shifts are actually forcing open doors, creating new, maybe even more dynamic paths for IT professionals.
That's the crucial point, yes. It might seem counterintuitive, but these disruptions are creating new avenues.
So what are some of the most important options for those IT pros who've been displaced and are looking to, turn this tide?
What's really fascinating here is how versatile those skills developed in government tech actually are. They translate surprisingly well, often directly, to the private sector. So the first big avenue is definitely private sector tech jobs. I mean, the private sector is always looking for competent IT professionals. They need them for innovation, to keep their competitive edge. And former government tech workers, they're actually highly valued, especially for their experience managing large-scale, complex, sometimes, like you said, legacy systems.
That makes sense. Big systems, high stakes.
Exactly. That unique mix of resilience and systematic thinking, that's a real differentiator, particularly in industries like finance, healthcare, manufacturing. They often deal with their own massive, complex enterprise infrastructure.
Yeah.
And the benefits are pretty clear. Diverse opportunities, from big established corporations to flashy new startups, often more competitive compensation packages and benefits compared to government roles, and usually faster professional growth because you get exposed to different industries and challenges.
Okay, so the private sector is a big one. What else?
Then there's remote and contract work. This has really exploded, right? The rise of widespread remote work has significantly boosted opportunities for contract-based projects. This offers incredible flexibility. You can often pick projects and schedules that fit your life better. Plus, it encourages really rapid skill diversification.
How so?
While you're jumping between different projects, different clients, maybe different technologies, you learn a lot fast. And it broadens your professional network hugely, connecting you with all sorts of clients across various industries.
Good point. More variety, more connections.
Definitely. A third option to consider is entrepreneurship and startups. For displaced tech workers, especially those with unique insights from managing, say, large government systems or dealing with specific data challenges, starting their own business or joining an early-stage startup could be a great path. This seems particularly relevant in emerging areas. Think green technology, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity. Their problem-solving skills, honed in complex government settings, can be a massive asset there.
So building something new.
Yeah. The benefits? Well, the chance to innovate, create fresh solutions from scratch, much more autonomy over your projects, your decisions, and, of course, the potential for significant financial rewards if the business takes off.
Okay, you mentioned one more.
Yes, and this one is absolutely critical, upskilling and certification programs. This is really the key that unlocks those other doors we just talked about. Seriously, investing in further education, getting relevant credentials, it sharply increases your marketability to potential employers. It helps you land those potentially lucrative jobs in these emerging high-demand fields.
That's a really powerful set of options. It definitely reframes a layoff from just an ending to maybe a new beginning, a launch pad even. So given this rapidly changing environment you've described, why is continuous education, that upskilling piece, more crucial now than maybe ever before?
Oh, it's absolutely essential. In today's tech world, things change so fast, right? Continuous education directly boosts both your employability and your market relevance. Simple as that. Employers actively look for and prefer candidates who show flexibility, who show a clear desire to learn and advance. And if you connect this back to the bigger picture with these government tech layoffs pushing more experienced professionals into the private job market, acquiring those in-demand skills isn't just about finding any job.
Right, it's about competing effectively.
Exactly. It's about securing the well-paying, the future-proof IT jobs. It's about accelerating your career trajectory, not just getting back on track.
So what are those specific skills that are super hot in the private sector right now?
Okay, so there are a few standouts. Cybersecurity expertise is huge, paramount, really. With data breaches and regulations, data protection is just critically important everywhere. Then there's cloud computing. Expertise in platforms like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, highly sought after. And not just the basics, but understanding the nuances, like multi-cloud strategies or the security implications of hybrid cloud environments.
Things government roles might actually give you experience in on a large scale.
Precisely. That large-scale experience can be particularly valuable. Data analytics is another big one. The ability to understand complex data, derive insights, influence strategic decisions, moving beyond just running reports to real predictive analysis. And of course, artificial intelligence and machine learning. This continues to surge. Companies see AI solutions as key competitive advantages. But beyond those technical skills, and this is vital, don't forget the soft skills.
Ah, yes. Always important.
Always. Teamwork, good communication, solid problem-solving abilities. These are highly prized and make you a much more attractive candidate overall, especially in dynamic private sector teams.
Okay, that makes sense. Skills are key. So if someone is listening and thinking, right, I need to upskill, maybe quickly, what's a practical, effective way to fast-track that learning?
Yeah, that's a really important question, and for many people the answer is tech boot camps.
Boot camps. We hear a lot about those.
You do. A tech boot camp is basically a short, really intense program designed to teach a specific set of skills. They focus on providing valuable, hands-on work experience and can genuinely pave the way for a speedy return to the tech sector or a pivot within it. Boot camps are often excellent at bridging that gap between, say, your previous degree or experience and the very specific, highly practical skills employers are looking for right now.
How do they manage that fast-tracking to high-paying jobs? What's the mechanism?
Well, it works in a few ways. First, their curriculum is hyper-targeted. It focuses only on the specific, immediately relevant skills that are in demand in the job market today. No filler. Second, they heavily emphasize hands-on projects. You're not just sitting listening to lecturers, you're building things, working on real-world type scenarios. This directly sharpens your problem-solving skills in a practical way.
Learning by doing.
Exactly. And third, many boot camps offer pretty robust career services. This can include employment assistance, interview prep, resume help, and often they provide mentors or career coaches specifically to help you plot out your future as an IT professional. You can imagine maybe a former government network administrator. They go through a focused cybersecurity boot camp, and then they land a role as, say, a cloud security architect. That's the kind of transformation we're seeing happen.
That does sound like a powerful accelerator. Okay, so let's say someone has done the upskilling, maybe via boot camp or self-study. They have the new skills. What are the most effective strategies now for actually navigating the job search and landing that new role?
Right, the job hunt itself. A successful job search today involves several key strategies, definitely beyond just, blasting out resumes. First, networking is paramount, and I mean strategic networking. In this climate, maybe that means identifying people who kind of bridge the gap between government and the private sector, or focusing on niche online communities around emerging tech where opportunities might not be formally advertised.
So targeted networking.
Very targeted. Attending industry events, virtual or in person, is still a great way to meet people in your field. Second, continuous learning, which we just hammered home. Keep staying abreast of evolving tech and business trends. Keep earning relevant certifications. It shows initiative. Third, tailoring resumes and online presence. This is so crucial. You have to update your LinkedIn profile and customize your resume to specifically highlight the experience and talents relevant for each specific role you apply for.
Not just one generic resume.
Absolutely not. Think about how your government experience, maybe managing huge systems or holding a security clearance, directly translates to a need in the private sector job description. Spell it out for them. And finally, don't overlook utilizing recruitment agencies, especially specialized tech recruiters. They often have access to unadvertised IT jobs, and they can be really helpful in framing your unique government background effectively for private sector hiring managers.
Okay, great practical advice there. So let's try and summarize our deep dive today. It feels like the core message is, while these government tech layoffs can initially feel like a huge setback, maybe even scary, for many IT professionals, they really can be the catalyst, the beginning of a more fulfilling and maybe even a much better paid career path.
Absolutely. It's fascinating when you consider the power of choice, the agency you actually have in this moment.
Yeah.
By actively looking at and embracing those private sector opportunities, by judiciously reskilling through focused programs like boot camps, and by strategically expanding your professional network, you can absolutely take control of your future in tech, even with all these big changes happening.
It's about being proactive, not reactive.
Exactly.
All right. And as we wrap up, we like to leave our listeners with something to chew on. So here's a final provocative thought for you. Given the rapid pace of change we've discussed today, the clear shift towards outsourcing, towards automation in the tech landscape, what new, maybe niche skill do you think will become unexpectedly critical for IT professionals in the coming years? Something beyond that current high demand list we talked about today, beyond cloud, cyber, AI basics. What's the next unexpected thing? Something to really mull over as you think about your own next step